Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch One, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Diving Alarm, U.S. Navy SEALs, one of 1,500 made in a limited edition. This watch, like all watches featured on our YouTube channel, represents actual inventory in stock and available for immediate purchase and delivery on our retail website, watchyouwant.com. And if you like getting the latest news, views, and reviews in daily video format, luxury watch fans, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now, the 2009 union of the U.S. Navy SEALs and Jaeger-LeCoultre of La Sentier, Switzerland, took me by surprise. I'm going to be honest, I never would have associated the two. But some of the shared values, the desire to have the best equipment, uncompromising standards, and, quite frankly, a bit of a predilection for sports watches, definitely ties the two together, and the result is quite convincing. Now, as a former Navy guy, I can tell you, we like our gadgets, and while the SEALs are a breed apart, I'm confident that they feel the same way. And the bottom line is, the co-branding is remarkably discreet. There's nothing outwardly from any angle to externally identify this watch as a Navy SEALs tie-in. On my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters, it wears remarkably comfortable. Big part of that is down to the titanium construction. Very light on the wrist, it doesn't feel like a 44mm watch. Short lugs, nicely curved, and a superb vulcanized rubber bracelet are a big part of the reason. You can see that the watch is unlikely to slip under a very tight dress cuff, but for the most part, this is a watch that you can wear casually or formally because the subdued combination of the gray metal and the black accents doesn't play as too extrovert. 16.5mm thick, it's definitely got a lot of stance, a lot of presence, but it's not an outright towering presence. And because the case doesn't really cantilever outward and the bezel doesn't have a jutting edge, you could definitely wear it under a sport coat, a blazer, something with a broader sleeve with a little bit more give, a little bit more clearance. The bracelet is a huge part of the ergonomic and aesthetic appeal of this watch. Now you can see with the gray metal and the black accents, you've got a lot of the look from an arm's length of a textile strap, of a rubber strap, but you have the durability and the security of metal. Now this watch features the completely sizable all removable link JLC rubberized bracelet originally introduced in the 2006 Master Compressor Diving Series, and with the better part of a decade's experience with these, we know that they wear well. The rubber doesn't chip, flake, scratch off, or in any way wear at an accelerated rate. This is not like an AP rubber-clad bezel. These things are built to last, and JLC as a full manufacturer gets a lot of credit for building its movements, less so for the cases, the bracelets, and the clasps, which tend to be overlooked. They shouldn't be because they're among the best in the business. Now, rubber on the wrist in hot weather or when you're sweaty, when there's sand or grit underneath, rubber on the wrist is definitely preferable to metal. But you get the security of metal and the souplesse, that soft feel of rubber. I'm going to turn this watch so you can see in the light. But here you can see how there's sort of a inward curved or concave shape with broad channels between the links on the bottom. So it won't pull hair, it won't pinch skin, very comfortable. And it's paired with JLC's always superb double deployant quadruple trigger clasp. When it closes, it has a very low profile. It has a very secure, solid, reassuring snap, opening or closing, beautifully polished. No part of this is left unfinished. You can even see the gleam of that beveled edge along the outer shoulders of the clasp itself. Even inside, where the individual swing arms have been beveled down for a precise fit and individually treated with a sort of satin metallic finish, nothing is left with its industrial birth scars in place. There's no overlooked element. So although this is a watch built in the image of U.S. Navy SEALs, it's nevertheless finished JLC's historic valet de jour standards. Now you can see on the case back, worth highlighting, the only outward sign that this is a SEALs-themed watch. You can see the SEALs warfare device, the eagle holding the gun and the trident on top of an anchor. Very cool. Again, I like the fact that it's not overt. It's there if you want to show it off. It's discreet if you don't. So, just like the Amvox watches, JLC understands not everyone's going to be into the branding of the watch so much as the look of the watch itself. So the branding is kept subtle and the look is played up. And what a look. You have this full brush titanium case with just a few hand-polished accents. Now you can see the gleam on the shoulders of the knurled pieces of the bezel. Likewise, you can see the polish of these hand-beveled edges on the lugs. You can see that small polished element, just an accent, just like a little bit of jewelry for your watch. It's the attention to detail that makes the difference between this and the vast mass in the luxury dive watch sector. Make no mistake, this is a dive watch. water resistant down to 300 meters or approximately 1,000 feet. This is a very tough watch. Tough in its construction, externally and internally. I'll get to the caliber 956 movement in a moment, but I want to talk about this bezel. A true unidirectional diving bezel. It's a pleasure in the hand, and you can hear that those detents are nice and crisp, very solid, very pronounced. A bad bezel can ruin a great dive watch. Fortunately, JLC gives you a bezel that's equal to the content and the quality of the rest of the watch. And because it is ceramic, you can use this makeshift 60-minute timer without any fear of it being degraded over time by the slings and arrows of daily life, car seatbelt buckles, doorknobs, dry rock, or should you, I know, unlikely as it sounds, use this dive watch for diving, you're not going to encounter a lot of serious hazards that are a risk to this bezel. Virtually as hard as sapphire, ceramic is a material that really supersedes the old aluminum inserts for the best. It's almost impossible to scratch without diamond tools, so while titanium can be refinished, the ceramic likely never will have to be. So this is a watch that's going to keep looking good for a long period of time, and that's an innovation relative to previous dive watches. You can see the dial does include some stylistic elements inspired by the original Polaris 68 design. Definitely a little bit of commonality between the Polaris, the modern Master Compressors, Master Compressor Divings, and the Master Compressor Navy SEALs models like this, but it's very much its own watch. The lume is abundant and glows like a torch at night, very visible day or night. You might be wondering why the JLC marquee is off-centered like this, and for those who aren't familiar with the Memovox watches, I want to emphasize that the setting of the alarm is done by means of a small arrow that you rotate around the hour track and set between the hours for quarters or tens of minutes. And so the JLC marquee, which you can see rotating on that center disc opposite the arrow, can actually be positioned up at the 12 if you so choose without any consequence. But if you do want to set the alarm, you're going to have to displace it. But that's all that's going on there. A lot to be seen here. You have center seconds, hours, and minutes, as well as a jump date. Now the watch does feature a hacking device, so when you pull the crown, you can see you stop the seconds. Now you can synchronize it precisely to a known accurate quartz clock, an atomic clock, or if you are a SEAL, your mission timer. But the bottom line is, beyond the hacking device, the movement, caliber 956, introduced for the new generation of tribute to Polaris and disseminated through the alarm watch line at JLC, is both tougher and a brighter sounding, louder alarm than its caliber 918 predecessor, still built entirely in-house. Now, it's tougher thanks to unidirectional winding on ceramic rotor bearings, unlubricated, sealed for life, they never need service. Likewise, that free-sprung balance with a laser-welded hairspring at the stud and the collet doesn't have the same inherent risks of being displaced as a conventional balance with a mobile indicator or a mobile index. Likewise, because the hairspring is fixed by laser welding, it can't be displaced. So you have 2 degrees of resilience in the face of the kind of shocks or displacement that a watch can face on the wrist of a user, especially if that user is a Navy SEAL. Now the compressor crowns lend their name to all of the Master Compressor Diving, and Master Compressor Diving Navy SEALs models, and they're kind of ingenious. They give you a larger grip on the crown itself, so while they are rubberized, it's actually this wing nut that gives you the ability to gain easy purchase to open or close, that is lock or unlock the crown in a single half turn. This is hard to do on a screw-down crown that might be shielded by crown guards, so on a conventional Breitling, Rolex, or Omega dive watch, sometimes you have to fight a little bit with the crown if you want to set it when your hands are sweaty, wet, or you're wearing gloves. With the compressor crowns, no problem whatsoever. They're even color-coded. White it's tight, red you're dead. Now you'll never dive and accidentally drown your watch. Now up here, you can wind, set the alarm and set the date. Down here you can wind and set the time. Each one features a separate compressor crown. You do get 300 meters of water resistance, so 1,000 feet, same as a Rolex Submariner, but you get it with such ease of use as well as a visually distinct, completely original locking crown design, unique and exclusive to JLC. This watch, which features the 956 caliber entirely in-house, JLC's own case, JLC's own bracelet, and JLC's own clasp, also includes a little bit of outsourced aura and prestige from the Navy SEALs, who have in fact acted as field testers for JLC's prototypes of these models. So while the connection might seem tenuous to some, and I'll admit it struck me as a bit of a stretch, Thematically and practically, it's a good match in the end. And if you're not into the Navy SEALs, when this watch is on your wrist, no one will be any the wiser. It's its own watch. It stands on its own 2 feet. Like the Amvox series, JLC has kept the branding very discreet. You can see this Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Diving Alarm, U.S. Navy SEALs, 44mm in brushed titanium, on our website, watchyouwant.com.